What's up guys, Bionic here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I want to share a very important list with you guys. A list of updated epic champions that I use every day that help me speed up my gameplay in this game. So I want to cover where I use them, the kind of builds, how I've tweaked them so far so that you guys have a working model. In other words, I'm going to say these are probably like 11 of the most wanted epic champions in the game, and now that I have most of them, it makes everything a lot easier. All that said, let's jump right in. And to make this easier for you guys, I'm going to break them down into categories of where I use them, number one. And obviously, if I use them in a certain place, they're most likely also in the Faction Wars. So do keep that in mind because I'm not going to cover all of Faction Wars. What I consider to be the most important is, number one, the clan boss, obviously the arena, the classic arena, but also then probably the dungeons and now the Doom Tower, right? So all those champions obviously are in the Faction Wars is what I'm saying. Starting with our clan boss, there's been no major updates on those champions for me. I am still running the Batman Forever comp, which requires a Warcaster and a Roshguard. So let's do Warcaster first. Still the same speed. I have not really been able to tweak his stats to be even better. That might come over time, but at this point it is really hard to get gear upgrades on my account. All the skills are done, and then here are the masteries. To these teams is also a Doom Priest, which is specifically for the Spirit Affinity, but she's also really clutch for this. She's in an offensive relentless set. You only need 207 speed because she's in the lead. She has her self aura. It will bring her up to about 220 speed, which is sufficient for what you want to do. And the way that she's tuned in the clan boss, she's always taking her turn first, therefore will cleanse all of the debuffs, which is exactly what you want. For the masteries, here they are. The next one is going to be Seeker. He is absolutely a must for this clan boss, okay? So we have the same gear on this guy. I have also not been able to increase his stats for the last like 3 or 4 months. So 249 speed, 70% crit rate. That is because I have a Krila Witch arm, which is good, but if I want to remove Krila and try other champions, I'm gonna have to find another 30% crit rate on these champions, which is kind of really hard to do. As for the skills, they are all done, and then here are the masteries. Finally, the other epic clan boss champion is Fane in a relentless set. Same concept. I have not really been able to increase her stats, but I use these 4 champions basically every day aside from Doom Priest. Although Doom Priest, I do use her against some of the bosses in the Doom Tower. So I'm going to say literally every day for these 4 epic champions. Her speed for Fane here has not really changed. Crit rate, same concept. We have Krila, accuracy, everything else is kind of okay. All the skills are done, and then here are the masteries. So here's a quick overview of the clan boss results that I've been able to get with these champions so far. For example, the Void Affinity, this is probably one of my better runs, right? So we have Krila sitting at 13 million damage, but Fane 26 million damage, Seeker 18, Warcaster 12, and then a Roshguard here to kind of complete this build at a 14. And for the Spirit Affinity, here is my best run so far, I believe, so about 67 million. We can see that I'm just about there for that one key, but once again, Doom Priest, Fane, and Seeker, Warcaster, all 4 of them, these are my bread and butter for my clan boss team, and I have really not touched this for the last 4 months. The next couple of champions are going to be for the new dungeons. With the addition of the stage 20 to 25, it has pushed us to adapt to this. So obviously the gear requirements have changed quite a bit, but also my roster of epic champions has changed a little bit for that as well. Some of them have not really changed, like a Seer for example, but it has forced me to go to a Savage set. So in case you guys have missed this, I did that probably about a month or so ago, and this is probably the best Savage set on my account, right? So 100% crit rate, 283% crit damage. She has reduced quite a bit in speed, but we had also to reduce the resistance and accuracy, which is somewhat of a problem for me for the hard Doom Tower, but I'm happy to report that it has still worked. I was able to clear the previous Doom Tower with a Seer exactly like this. So I'm going to say overall, not the end of the world. I'm going to keep using her, and then here are the masteries. The next champion on this list is probably going to be not 2 now, but only 1 allure. Okay, so allure has a place for the Fire Knight, and I'll show you guys a result in not too long. She's still in affinity breaker gear. There's no real reason for me to take her apart in case I need her somewhere else. Maybe a relentless set here would be better, but for now I'm going to stick to this. So 237 speed, aim for 100% crit rate, obviously lots of accuracy. She has maybe a little bit too much, but this was for the hard Doom Tower. Now though, I don't really need her in the Doom Tower, and I'll get back to that. As for her skills, they are all done. No, sorry, the skills are not done on this champion. It's one of those. You don't need to do that. And finally, here are the masteries on this one. Then we have only 1 Royal Guard, right? So I used to need 2 Royal Guards, but now that I don't do Dragon 20 speed runs, I don't need a second one, right? So my runs are longer, but that's because I'm doing stage 24, which is kind of normal. So instead, I can focus most of my better gear on 1 Royal Guard. So this guy in a Savage set, he needs to be 213 speed. I'll get back to that. 3.5k attack, 100% crit rate, 221% crit damage. It's kind of low. I would need a little bit more to add consistency to my Fire Knight runs, but hey, let's face it, it's not easy to do. All the skills are done on this champion, and then here are the masteries. The next one is going to be another champion that I recently talked about. He's a beast. I love Archmage Helmet, and he is in a couple dungeon teams now, pretty much also in the Doom Tower for every floor. I have mine in a stun set. I did a full build video on this guy. I'm not going to cover him too much. He is relatively fast, high resistance and accuracy. That is for the hard Doom Tower. All the skills are done, and then for the masteries, we do have Fearsome Presence. The next one is another new one. I just talked about him yesterday. It's Akoth the Seared. He is now the key to doing Spider 24. We used to use what is it, Achok the Windoran and Mordecai, but now that we've moved to 24, we want instead Akoth and Archmage, right? This is our combo to do this speed run, and I'll show you guys the results of that as well. And I do have him in a stun set because he has 2 AoEs, and I think he's great. We have the skills done on this champion, but you don't really need it. To be honest, I don't think you need it at all, so that is obviously a couple of books you could save there. And I currently have no masteries on this guy. Eventually I'll do them, but I'm not sure what I want out of this guy aside from the Spider 24. Our next one is another one that I just recently built, so this is another new MVP on my account. It is Aox the Rememberer, and I'll show you guys where I use him the most. He's currently wearing a Guardian set and 2-piece Immortal. I will spend a little bit more time eventually on this guy in a separate video. He's relatively slow, so more tweaking needed, but he is on this list of very valuable epic champions. We got 65k HP. We do have high resistance and a reasonable amount of accuracy. Again, this is for a specific dungeon. All the skills are done on this champion, and then for the masteries, we do have War Master. I guess I was trying to build probably like a clan boss champion, but I ended up not really needing him for the clan boss. So now on to the results of each of the 4 dungeons, starting with Dragon 24 in about 1 minute and 20 seconds. All right, so we have Archmage and Seer in there. The next one is going to be our Fire Knight 25. This is the only one where I'm still doing 25 for the simple reason that Royal Guard and Allure are the right affinity for this. They would not work on 24, right? So Seer wouldn't be a problem, but because of that, I'm not really able to move to Fire Knight, 24, right? I'm gonna stick to this for a while longer. Finally here we have the Spider and the Ice Golem. So here's my new team or speed team for Ice Golem 24. We do have Aox to Remember in there, which is great for this, along with Bad Alcazar. So I'm gonna say it's not just about Aox, obviously Seer in there, obviously to speed up the waves. And for the Spider 24, my best time of 33 seconds with Akoth and Archmage. All right, so these are the dungeon epic champions. And finally, there is one more champion to cover. This guy is a must for the arena, and I just recently got him. That is Deacon Armstrong. He can be used in some dungeons. I'm not saying he's not good in there. He can probably be in the clan boss, but I specifically use him for the arena, which is why I have him really fast, high accuracy for that turn meter control, AoE decreased defense in an immunity set. I would imagine this would eventually be on like a Madame Ceres if I ever get one. Here are the masteries on this champion. Let me also make a quick note about the Doom Tower and how I use some of these champions in here. For example, all the floors, whether normal normal or hard right now are done with this team right here, which has the Seer and the Archmage. And instead of Renegade, I might have Arbiter occasionally, but this is kind of my go-to team. As for the bosses, I do farm the Celestial Griffin with a Doom Priest in there, right? So she's in other boss fights, but this is kind of like her everyday use aside from the clan boss. And for the other rotation of the Doom Tower, sorry, instead of the Lodric, Fenax, 2 Allures, and Septimus build to farm the Scarab King, I use Euros the Soul Cage, which is why I kind of don't need all those other champions. Now, so there have you guys, my 11 updated most valuable epic champions on my account. Hopefully you guys have something you can use to build your own. And here's one more thing to point out: if you guys want to have more information on my champions, you can go on the BGE's guides spreadsheet on the web, which has basically a breakdown of the speed of all my champions. I update this regularly, right? So, you know, at some point it might be a certain speed, the next day might change a little bit, so do take that into consideration. There's also a link to pretty much all the champion builds if you guys want to have that information or more info on a specific champion. There you have it, guys. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Which one is your favorite? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.